Hello, everyone. Charles Watts here. Welcome back to Inside Arsenal. It is Wednesday. I hope you are well wherever you're watching or listening to this around the world. And I'm sure you are, because what a fun night that was last night at the Emirates in the Champions League. Arsenal beating PSG 2-0. Absolutely brilliant performance that was for Arsenal. So we're going to talk about that at length in today's show. Go over some of the big talking points. Look at what Mikel Arteta has been saying. Discuss Kai Havertz, who was sensational, I thought, last night as well. Got lots of reaction from you. I'll run through my player ratings. I didn't do a show last night after the game, so plenty for us to get stuck into. And was a really, really good night. I mean, 2-0. It's almost a perfect scoreline for just such a comfortable night's work for Arsenal. Just thoroughly dominant. 2 goals in the first half. Second half just kept PSG at arm's length with a really patient, mature, dare I say, experienced display, even though Arsenal aren't that experienced when it comes to Champions League football. Yes, PSG had a lot of the ball. I think that was mainly by design, to be honest. I think Arsenal sat off them and just thought, you know what, you can have the ball. We don't think you're going to break us down. And they didn't. They had one couple of half chances, one from a corner, of course, one long range shot, which Raya pushed away. But other than that, it was just a really controlled, measured, just a proper European performance from Arsenal, I thought, who would just... I really enjoyed the game, I have to say. I was watching it. It was a really tactical, it was just a proper European match, I thought. The first half was really, really interesting because PSG technically were very, very good. You could see how comfortable they were on the ball. I thought their midfield, the way they moved it around, the movement, that was all really, really good. But then when it got to the sort of final third, that's watertight defence that Arsenal had. I just thought kept them at arm's length pretty much all the time. Hakimi was dangerous down the right. He got in a couple of times behind Calafiori. That pace that we know he's got was a bit of a threat. But other than that, I just thought Arsenal controlled it really, really well. And although PSG felt like they had quite a lot of the ball, it was Arsenal when they went forward who were the team who were creating the opportunities and looking the more threatening of the two. I thought Leandro Trossard in that first half was really, really good. I thought his touch, his control, technique, everything was spot on. And every time he got the ball, he did something right with it. And of course, it was him who set up the goal for Havertz. Brilliant header, I thought, by Kai Havertz. I don't think he got enough credit because a lot of the sort of finger pointing went at Donnarumma and the fact he came out and didn't get there. But I thought Havertz's header was really clever. The direction of it was a difficult header to pull off. You know that the massive guy like Donnarumma is charging out at you and is going to clatter you. So it's quite a difficult header to pull off. And I thought the way he cushioned it, the direction he put it, it was really, really good. But Trossard's play, he made that out of nothing, really. When he got the ball, there was very little on. It was really tight. He worked himself the opportunity, he moved the ball forward, and then the quality of the cross to find Kai Havertz, I thought it was excellent. And it summed up Leandro Trossard's first half performance. I thought everything he did was just really, really tight and really spot on. I think he deserves an awful lot of credit for it. And then obviously getting the second goal, first direct free kick since that Martin Odegaard free kick against Burnley about 3 years ago, whatever it was. I mean, it's not technically your standard direct free kick, is it? I don't think Bukayo Saka was meaning to score, but he just put it into that area. And it was a clever work routine because I watched it all unfold as the Arsenal was setting up for that set piece. I was watching Gabriel Martinelli, who was about 30 yards out. It was almost like he was a player who was going to be covering for the counter-attack. And then the bench was shouting at Martinelli, Nicolas Jova, and everyone were trying to get Martinelli's attention. Martinelli looked over, the bench passed on a message to him. He went sprinting into the penalty area to where Gabriel, Saliba, and everyone were gathered at the back post. He whispered something to them. They all then started waving their arms at Bukayo Saka to give him a message, and then Saka whipped the ball in. All those guys at the back post, including Martinelli, charged to the near post, caused all that disruption, and the ball went in. I'm sure the plan was for someone to actually get a touch to it and score themselves, but you could see how happy they were afterwards. It was whatever the plan was, it worked, and it led to a goal being scored. It was just another really good example of the thought process that goes into Arsenal set pieces. They don't have this record for nothing in terms of scoring for set pieces. There's so much work goes into it. And that was another one that paid off. And Bukayo Saka, captain in Arsenal in the Champions League at the Emirates, scoring yet again in that competition. He's had such a good start to the competition since Arsenal went back in it last season. And you could tell he enjoyed that. He said afterwards he's going to keep the armband for the rest of his life because it was such a proud moment for him. So 2-0 Arsenal at halftime, totally in control. I have to admit, I said to my dad, I was sitting there and I was like, we better not start the second half like we started the second half on Saturday. Unfortunately, they didn't. I thought it was a really controlled performance from Arsenal in the second half. PSG had a lot of the ball, as I said at the start, in that second half. There was a sort of 10, 15-minute spell where it was Arsenal basically camped around the edge of their box. And it felt a little bit nervy because he thought if PSG do manage to find a way through here, then they're going to get a spring in their step, and it might be a little bit difficult for Arsenal. But in truth, they didn't really threaten in that time. They had that one chance from the set piece. I think it was, I can't remember who it was, who got across at the near post and got the touch to it, and it bounced up, hit the crossbar. There was that shot that came in that Raya pushed away. But other than that, they just never really threatened. It was still Arsenal with the quality moments up front. That if Martinelli had scored that volley, that would be a goal we'd talk about for an awful long time, with everyone keeping it up and sort of linking it to each other. I think it was Trossard, wasn't it? And then it was Saka, it was Havertz with the final ball. Martinelli got the volley. It was a really nice connection from Martinelli. If he finds the corner, that is just a goal you talk about for a long, long time. Havertz had a headed chance that didn't go in. Martinelli had another shot that didn't go in. So although PSG had more of the ball in the second half, I still thought Arsenal were the most threatening team. And when the full-time whistle went, I just turned to my dad and said, that's a proper performance from Arsenal. It was a near perfect night, I think, or was a perfect night. If the injury to Timber, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on, but if Timber's fine and that was just purely a precautionary move to take him off at half-time, then you don't get more perfect night in the Champions League really than that, against a real top team, and to play it so measured the way they did. I think it says a lot about how much this team has learned as well, because when you look back to the Bayern Munich game last season, when Arsenal started well, they got themselves in front. They should have kicked on and won that game, but they let Bayern Munich back into it. They didn't let that happen with PSG. Granted, Bayern have got more of an attacking threat than PSG have. This isn't the PSG of old with the likes of Mbappe and Neymar and Messi playing up front for them. They've got a different route, and they've got a lot of young, technically gifted players who are going to get better and better, you would think, over the next couple of years. But they're still a very good team, and I thought they showed that at times last night. But Arsenal just had their number. They looked really experienced. They looked like seasoned Champions League campaigners yesterday, Arsenal. And I was really, really impressed with that. And I thought Havertz was absolutely exceptional once again in that game, leading the line. I mean, you look at the numbers there. PSG may have had more shots, but they only had 2 on target, and the XG 0.4. I mean, to keep PSG, a team like PSG, down to 0.4 expected goals is really, really good. Arsenal 1.2 expected goals, five of Arsenal's 6 shots on target. That's what I'm talking about. Although Arsenal didn't create loads, what they did create, they were decent chances, and they led to real, proper efforts on goal that the goalkeeper was called into action to try and stop. It was never felt like that with PSG in it. And as I said, PSG dominated possession. They had a load more passes, field tilt, they were in control, but the actual game itself, they never felt in control. And Luis Enrique admitting that afterwards, the players admitting that afterwards, that Arsenal just far superior on the night to them, and I thought they were. So it was a really good night. I came away from it feeling very, very good about this Arsenal team and where they're going right now. You add Martin Odegaard into that mix, and it raises that team to another level as well in terms of the attacking output in the final third. So really good signs, thoroughly enjoyable Champions League night for me. Top night indeed. Mikel Arteta, speaking about it after the game, asked about how sort of saw the game out after the first half. He said, especially the way we played in the first half and how determined and brave we were, the quality we showed again against this kind of opponent to be so dominant, score 2 good goals. Then we wanted that different second half, probably continued to be that dominant and with the ball to be more composed than we were. We had 3 big chances to score the third one. Probably that would have killed the game. It didn't. Credit to them as well. The changes they made, the adaptation that they made, they forced us to play again in a different area on the pitch. And we had more problems after that to continue to play the way we wanted in the first half. And on what a win like this can do for the squad, he says, I think it raises the confidence and belief that we can compete with any team at that level in European competitions. With the style of games that are more different to the Premier League, I think we showed a lot of maturity in the way we played and put our stamp on that. And the way we behave in Europe against top teams, and I really like that. And that was kind of what I was thinking when I was watching it in the second half. And I was watching PSG have all the ball, moving it across the sort of technically gifted way they were playing, how comfortable the midfield were when they were on the ball. And I was just looking at Arsenal falling back into those 2 banks of 4, the height of them, the physically sort of imposing nature of them. And I just looked at it. It's just going to be an incredibly difficult team to beat, Arsenal. Really, really difficult team to beat. And no matter how good you are, how good your players are, you're going to struggle to get through Arsenal. And I just felt really, really confident watching that side, watching that second half pan out. I've got to give Kai Havertz his flowers. I thought he was sensational last night. He scored the goal, obviously, really crucial first goal. And as I said, I thought it was a very, very good finish that he hasn't got enough credit for. But just his all-round performance, leading the line the way he did in that second half when Arsenal were under pressure and they could get the ball up to him. He could hold it up, bring others into play. His movement was great. He was brave. You think back to that goal against Bournemouth, his first ever Arsenal goal, when he was basically given a penalty almost out of sympathy because of the difficult start that he'd had. That was a year ago this week. In the space of, and you think what all the talk was about Havertz. So a year ago this week was that, he's a flop. It's not going to work. And I was saying it. I was looking at it and thinking, I don't see where this. And I'm not sure I can see him turning this round, because I just couldn't see it in his performances how he was going to suddenly turn things around so quickly. And so I've absolutely hold my hand. I've got it so wrong. I think the change, obviously, to play as a striker has done it. But you just look at where he is now from that player we saw basically exactly 1 year ago today. It is a remarkable transfer. I can't think about watching Arsenal without Kai Havertz in the team now. We talk about Martin Odegaard and how much of a miss he is. If Havertz were to get injured, he would be basically as irreplaceable, I think, right now as Martin Odegaard was. I think he's that important to how this team's playing. And the key thing is he's scoring goals now as well at a very regular rate. Now, 6 games in a row he's scored at the Emirates. 5 goals already for the season in 9 games so far. And you look at what, since he's made the move to a striker, say the turn of the year, how many goals he's scored now. If he can keep that up, he's on track for a 20 plus goals season, I think, which is, but it's not just about goal. He brings so much more to the team than that. Mikel was, enthused in his when he was talking about how he played. So powerful, but as well so intelligent. The way he occupies the spaces, the way he connects everything together, his work ethic, and now he's around the box, and you have the feeling he is going to score a goal. The goal was superb. I think overall the performance was as good from him. So really pleased from that. Deservedly, he was named the Champions League man of the match after that performance, and deservedly so. And just think it's fantastic what he's doing, the player he's transformed into. And it's just another prime example of why you just have to be a little bit patient with players, no matter how big a name they are, no matter how much money they cost. Always have to be a little bit patient with players and let them settle in and adjust to a new way of playing and a new style, a new manager, new teammates. And Havertz is showing, he silenced the doubters a long time ago, but each week that passes, he just becomes more and more important to this Arsenal team. I thought he was absolutely brilliant last night. And I thought these two were as well. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see who I'm talking about. Jurrien Timber and Ricardo Calafiori. Of course, Timber only lasted 45 minutes, but what a 45 minutes were. That was. I love that battle he had with over on the right-hand side. It was so strong. His ability to win the ball back, one-on-one situations was fantastic. He was getting forward. Hopefully, fingers crossed, the injury is nothing too serious. This is what Mikel said about the injury. He said he was unbelievable in the first half, but he felt something muscular and he was uncertain, and I didn't want to take any risks. He's been out for a year. He's played a lot of minutes, probably more minutes than we wanted in the last few weeks, and we have to manage him. So fingers crossed there was just nothing serious and it was purely precaution. I didn't see him on the pitch at full time. I was looking out to see, when the players came out and the substitutes came on and everyone was applauding the fans. I didn't see Timber there. So I think he was obviously down getting a bit of treatment in the dressing room at that time. But fingers crossed it's nothing too bad, especially with Ben White being out as well. But I thought he was brilliant. I thought Calafiori as well. I love Calafiori. He's kind of chaos. But you watch him and he's playing it in the first half. When he was playing at left back, he was there, and then suddenly he was popping up at right back during the first half. He was in the middle all the time. He's driving forward. His ball carrying ability is fantastic. He just gives you something completely different. The ingredients are there for him to be an absolute superstar of a footballer. I think there's definitely things he needs to work on defensively, and he does. He is prone to getting caught out, and a player can run off and get him behind it. We saw that again last night. But his recovery is great, which is good, a good thing. And obviously, he's very, very raw. He's 22. He's not played that much senior football, to be honest. His rise has been pretty rapid. And he's just come to, give him another year. When we're talking about with Kai Havertz there in terms of giving someone a year to adjust and how the different, you look at where he's starting from right now, the quality he's showing, the signs that he's showing, if you wind the clock forward a year and get him working with Arteta and the coaching staff for a year to really work on him, he's got all the ingredients to be a monster of a player. And I'm loving what the fullbacks are bringing at the moment. Again, fingers crossed Timber is okay. Hopefully Ben White can come back soon so they can share those minutes around, so you're not relying on one player so much and you're not having to load so many minutes into their legs. And Tomiyasu can come back and help out Zinchenko eventually as well. So hopefully you can start to balance those minutes out so you're not having to run them into the ground. But I thought both of them were excellent yesterday. The fact that Calafiori switched over to the right-hand side and played the way he did, I thought was really, really impressive. And I also thought Kivior was great when he came on for that second half cameo at left back as well, especially up against Hakimi, who was, a real threat for PSG all night long. I thought Kivior's cameo was very, very good. Right, player ratings time then, as I didn't get to do one yesterday. Given Raya a 7, potentially could have given Raya an 8. I mean, he wasn't really called into action much at all. Arsenal defended the goal very, very well. I thought his distribution was fantastic last night. There was that one pass early on from Martinelli that nearly led to a chance. Eventually, Donnarumma claimed it just before Martinelli got it, and they both sort of smashed into each other a bit and were down needing a bit of treatment. But a lot of Raya's distribution was excellent. His crossing, his claiming, coming and claiming crosses was fantastic as well. I've given him a 7. To be honest, I could have easily given him an 8. I gave all of the back four an 8. If Timber had carried on the way he'd been playing and did that for another sort of 25 minutes in the second half, he probably would have got a 9. But all of them were great. They defended the goal so well. Never switched off. And you could just see the enjoyment they get from defending. It's just so apparent, and the crowd feed off it. You can see it. I'm not sure I've ever seen a defense be able to whip up a crowd as much as this defense do. You just love seeing them celebrate every tackle, every time they've sort of marshaled the ball out of play and just use their strength to ensure that the attacker can't get to the ball. I just love watching them, and the crowd loves watching them. It's fantastic. So I gave all of them an 8. Thomas Partey, I gave an 8. I thought that was Thomas Partey's best performance of the season. I thought it was really, really good. I was glad that Mikel took him off when he did as well. You don't want to put too many minutes into Thomas's legs. He's played so many minutes this season. The signs are, given his performances against Man City and then last night, that he is really beginning to get towards his best as well. So, I thought it was great with the ball, without the ball. Just a really top performance from Thomas Partey. I gave Declan Rice a 7. Thought he was decent. Martinelli decent as well. Gave him a 7. Gave Saka an 8. Trossard an 8. I thought Trossard was in that first half was really, really impressive. As I said, just everything he did was perfect. He wasn't involved all the time, but whenever he was on the ball, technically he was just perfect. I thought he had a really good game, brilliant assist. And I gave Kai Havertz my man of the match. He gets a 9. The subs who came on, Kivior, I would give an 8 for his performance. I thought he was really, really good. Jesus, looking like a man searching for some confidence or searching for something and maybe taking an extra couple of touches. Look back to when Martinelli was searching for confidence a while back and he was taking too many touches on the ball. You're kind of looking at Jesus at the moment and seeing something very, very similar from his cameo. Great to see Marino come on, get himself a good sort of half an hour under his belt. I'm sure we'll see something similar at the weekend against Southampton. Real boost for Arsenal to have him back as early as he is, and good to see Miles Lewis-Skelly come on for the last few minutes and get his Champions League debut as well. When you look at the sort of few weeks that Lewis-Skelly and Nwaneri are enjoying at the moment, playing in North London derbies, the Etihad, scoring goals in the League Cup, and then Lewis-Skelly getting a Champions League debut as well. It's been a really special few weeks for those two Arsenal teenagers. So those are my player ratings. Kai Havertz gets the man of the match. Just a few comments and questions here from you guys. Finally, AJ says, hi, Charles. Great game overall for us. Trossard superb in the first half. Defence solid yet again. Want to give a special shout out to Kivior for always coming on and doing a good job. I'd like Arteta to start him against Southampton, play Calafiori at right back so Timber can rest fully following the muscular injuries he had in the first half. I think that's probably what he will do, to be honest. Don't want to take any chances. Jesus has been really poor, holding the ball for too long, being a bit too selfish. He doesn't look happy as well. Think we should move him on in the summer. It was good to see Marino back, even though he wasn't sharp. I'd also like to see Nwaneri play at least a half against Southampton. Thank you very much for that. AJ Bryan says, real professional performance from the lads. I know this will be an unpopular opinion against most, yourself included, but I don't think Declan Rice can do the job that a fit Thomas can do as a 6. Partey's ball winning, passing ability to turn and open up the play are way ahead of Rice's. Partey is improving game on game. I can't see Rice starting ahead of him as a 6 with Marino back. I can see Rice starting as a 6, to be honest, but I agree. I think Thomas has been brilliant, but I can still think that's what Mikel Arteta is going to do once everyone is up to speed. But I think it's been really encouraging, first of all, that Thomas Partey has played so many minutes at the start of this season, and there's been no injury. He's fine. He's done international with Ghana, come back, played loads of minutes. He's fine, and he looks like he's getting better game on game, as you point out. I think that's really, really encouraging. I think he's going to have a massive part to play this season. At the top, they've got what a good game it was. During the 2-0 win, we almost forgot PSG is from Pot A. Indeed, we have come a long way from struggling to win Europa Leagues to being serious contenders for the league and the Champions League. I started supporting Arsenal in the Graham years, and our current squad is right up there amongst the top Arsenal squads I've seen. To all the impatient Arsenal fans, there can only be one winner in all competitions. We'll get there sooner or later. Interesting. I had a conversation very similar to this yesterday about how good this squad is. And I agree. I think this squad is right up there. One of the best Arsenal squads I've ever seen. And obviously they need to go on and start winning things now to have some trophies next to their name, which is what you want. But in terms of squad depth and quality, this is right up there. One there from Nash. He says, hi, Charles. Nash Zombie, I think it was. He said, you didn't butcher my name last time. Hopefully I didn't that time as well. Brilliant start to the season, in my view, only ruined by petty decisions. I noticed how the referees didn't give Saka a yellow in the 83rd minutes when Saka kicked the ball away about a second after the whistle was blown. I thought that was a sensible thing to do, and makes me think that the route the Premier League referees have taken is ridiculous. I thought Martinelli was good, but still needs to be a little more calm in order to make the right decisions with his finishing, as he could have had a couple of goals. And what a win that would have been. Yeah, I thought the referee was good last night. And just as he was the referee in the game against Atalanta, I thought the two we've had in European competitions have been so much better than what we're seeing in the Premier League. But, mainly that's probably down to the fact that they've not got these huge rules that they've been told to follow this season. Such sort of nitpicky rules that we know that Howard Webb and everyone at PGMOL are demanding that the referees now follow when it comes to kicking the ball away, restarting the game or delaying the game, whatever. You obviously don't have that amount of sort of white tape rubbish being thrown at them by European referees and the Referees Association. And I think that really sort of is obvious when you're watching the referees' performances in Europe competition so far. One from Jordan at the bottom there says, not a bad win tonight. Thought Partey was very good and Timber and Kivior were decent. Havertz outstanding in my opinion, not just the goal, but general hold-out play. Feel like we became a bit jaded in the second half and dropped a little too deep. Fortunately for us, PSG were about as sharp as a spoon and the defenders largely did their jobs pretty well. Overall, 3 points, a tricky fixture done. We'll move on to Southampton. Looking forward to the video tomorrow. Thanks as always. Thank you very much, Jordan. I hope you have enjoyed the video now. If Arsenal win this game against Southampton at the weekend, I will hopefully look back at this little chunk of the season as being hugely, hugely important. You think back to the sort of doom and gloom after the last international break with the Odegaard injury, looking at the fixtures Arsenal had coming up, Spurs away, City away, PSG, Atalanta away, and thinking we've got to do that all without Odegaard and other injuries as well. There was a lot of doom and gloom. And if Arsenal get the result that we hope they get at the weekend against Southampton, they're going to come through this period between the two international breaks unbeaten, with some really good away draws, so close to beating Manchester City despite everything that's gone against them. I think that's going to be huge. They deserve huge credit, honestly, huge credit. We're all worried, all wondering how are Arsenal going to cope without Odegaard, how are they going to find a way to win? And they are doing it, and they're doing it with some really good professional performances at the moment, and none more so than last night. So thank you very much for watching and for listening today, everyone. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. I'm sure you should, and you will, because you should be in a very good mood after that last night. I certainly am. Looking forward to how the day unfolds. I'll be back tomorrow to do it all over again. So I look forward to seeing you all then. Until then, have a fantastic day, everyone. Enjoy your Wednesday. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.